In this video, we'll give you 10 sneaky starts for week 4 of the fantasy football season. We are Jim Coventry and Anthony Cervino of RotoWire. Geno Smith is at the Lions. And on the surface, it doesn't look like a great matchup because the offensive line in Seattle pass protection is an issue. The Lions pass rush is Aiden Hutchinson, and it is impressive, but Marcus Davenport, the defensive end, is out for a while, if not the entire season. Why do I like Geno Smith? First of all, I like the tempo they're running this new offense, that they're speeding it up. That's going to keep Aiden Hutchinson at bay a little bit. The faster you run these plays, the less rest time between snaps. He's a one-man gang, but it may not be enough over the course of a game. Also, I do believe Geno Smith is playing at a very high level right now, especially in this new offense. And he has big advantages with DK Metcalf and Jaxson Smith-Njigba, who often runs in the slot. I think those mismatches in the tempo are really going to set something up here. I think Geno is a quarterback 1 this week, not the quarterback 2 we drafted him to be. Anthony, who are you liking at quarterback this week?
At the quarterback position, Justin Fields, he's visiting the Colts, and this is a great matchup for Justin Fields. Now, the first 2 games where he really earned the starting job, he led the Steelers to 2 wins, but he was really a game manager. He didn't make mistakes. They won football games. Against the Chargers, he had his first really nice fantasy outing, 22.9 fantasy points, 78.1 completion percentage, a touchdown, a pick. He did run for a touchdown, but he wasn't his old Justin Fields efficient self, only ran 6 times for 6 yards. But altogether, a great fantasy day, and now he gets the Colts. They've given up a ton of fantasy production to quarterbacks, and I think it continues this week. You can start Justin Fields with confidence.
Absolutely. Now, running backs, I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard of the Carolina Panthers against the Bengals. And I know it might sound like a layup here, but look, Hubbard wasn't heavily involved the first 2 weeks of the season. He had an average 10 touches per game. Andy Dalton steps in, and all of a sudden, we see Hubbard 21 carries. We see 5 targets, catches them all, 114 rushing yards, 55 and a touchdown through the air. The point is this: Hubbard, in this current configuration of the offense in Carolina, he's matchup proof, not matchup proof, game script proof. Because if they need to throw it to him, he can catch it. If they need to run, he can run. And defenses have to pay a little respect to Andy Dalton. Bryce Young, there was no respect. Everybody walked up and said, you can't throw the ball. Now there's a little bit of space for Hubbard. And the Bengals, talk about a cake matchup. We knew going into the season, this team was never going to be able to stop the run. They couldn't last year. They lost DJ Reader in the offseason. And now they have multiple injuries up front. People missed Monday night. Even if they're back, they're not 100%. In Carolina, they should hang in this game. But even if they don't, Hubbard's going to get it done whichever way they need. Runner, receiver, love them this week. Anthony, who's your running back?
My running back is Zack Moss. Now, Moss is coming off of an outstanding game, Monday night loss to the Washington Commanders. 17 touches, scores a touchdown, really effective as a receiver out of the backfield, 5 or 6 targets for 39 yards. Now, if you watched the game, you saw Chase Brown. He also had a season-high 9 touches. That should not scare you off of Zack Moss. They are committed to Zack Moss, and now he gets the Carolina Panthers. And Carolina last week against the Raiders, they stepped up on defense. Normally this season, they've been smashed and gashed by the running back position, but Carolina went out and dominated that football game. But still, Alexander Madison still found the end zone. So I think we see Moss as a high floor play, but if they give him another 15 plus touches, he could have another big outing for your fantasy teams. You have to start him.
If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Also, you can check out all of our fantasy football content and rankings. You get a free 2-day trial, no credit card needed. Head on over to rotowire.com/Jim. Check out all of our content. Moving to wide receiver. Look, at quarterback, I went with Geno Smith. I'm going with Jaxson Smith-Njigba. Normally a borderline starter type, clear starter this week. First of all, we talked earlier. I'll repeat some of the stuff. The tempo. They're going to move it fast. But Jaxson Smith-Njigba has a great slot matchup. And when that pass rush of the Lions gets home, or it threatens to get home, the quick outlet's going to be that slot to Smith-Njigba. This is a game, lots of yardage after the catch. Could be a primary target at time here. Again, I think in a game that should have some very good scoring potential, love Jaxson Smith-Njigba as a strong start this week. Anthony, who do you like at wide receiver?
Yeah, I'm going to Khalil Shakir. And Khalil Shakir giving us a high floor, at least 10.6 PPR points in every game. But against Jacksonville on Monday night, we saw Shakir have a complete game, 6 of 6 targets, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Now, he has not surpassed 6 targets yet, so this is not a volume play, but he gets a Baltimore secondary on the road. This might be a game where it's going to be a little bit more challenging for the Buffalo Bills. They might even face a time where this is a one-possession game, and this has not happened for Buffalo yet this year. And we might have to see Josh Allen pass the football more. I see a big-time volume day for Khalil Shakir, and he could return another monster game for your fantasy lineups.
And just remember, Shakir's hips don't lie. Love that line. Going to tight end. Colby Parkinson of the Rams at the Bears. I was off Parkinson's most weeks this season, week 2 and 3 out, but I like him this week. The Bears have a very, very good defense. They're playing at home. The Bears defense is probably going to manhandle this Rams offense. But when the pass rush, which is not a great pass rush, but it's going to get home against a really rough line, there's going to have to be an outlet receiver here. And to me, that's Colby Parkinson. And I know they have a lot of short area field guys, but Parkinson should be in the middle of the field often. That's going to be the easiest sight line for Matthew Stafford in this game. So I think Parkinson flirts at 6 or 7 targets here, and I think he plays his way into the streaming radar in this one. The Bears do give up the 11th most fantasy points to tight ends, despite not really facing high-profile tight ends to date. So yeah, if you need them, fire them up. Anthony, who's your tight end?
Yeah, I'm going to say in this game, and I'm firing up Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, we saw this trend early this year. In week 1, Gerald Everett was beating out Cole Kmet in snaps, but that did not last long. Week 2, Cole Kmet takes over in snaps, sees 5 targets. Last week, obviously, Cole Kmet dominant in snaps and dominant everywhere else. So it seems like the Gerald Everett, Shane Waldron experiment, that's over. And Cole Kmet, coming off a monster game, he has a chance this week against the Rams, 28th against enemy tight ends. These tight ends have been smashing the Rams all season long, and Kmet 11 targets last week. He's been leaned on by Caleb Williams the past 2 games. I expect that to continue. This Bears offense is now starting to turn the corner. They had 2 rough matchups, Tennessee and Houston, to start the year defensively. They had the Colts last week. Now you get the Rams and then Carolina. Expect to use guys like Cole Kmet a little bit more moving forward.
The wild card play of the week for me is Alan Lazard of the New York Jets against the Broncos. When we look at this game, Denver likes to try to scheme up pressure. They really like to bring it from different blitzes and packages. Well, the Jets, good enough offensive line. Morgan Moses, the right tackle, will be out. The rookie, Oli Fashanu comes. They're going to be fine. But here's the better thing. When those blitzes come, Aaron Rodgers has seen it all. He knows where his hot reads are before the play even gets set. That ball will be out quickly, and the blitz is going to burn Denver. Also, Patrick Surtain's been playing a lot of shadow coverage, so he's probably going to be Surtain on Garrett Wilson a lot. Alan Lazard plays 39% in the slot, which is going to be very advantageous when those pressure packages come. Lazard can also get vertical. And remember this, Aaron Rodgers is going to talk in the pregame knowing this blitz using some play action. And who better on those play action slot fades than Alan Lazard? So I do think Lazard's a great play this week. Anthony, who's your wild card pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go really deep here. I'm going to go Roschon Johnson. He played his first offensive snaps of the year last week. He had 32. Second only to DeAndre Swift's 44, and had 8 carries for 30 yards, also caught 4 or 5 targets for 32, 10.2 PPR points. And what do we know about this Bears run game? It has not been able to get going. DeAndre Swift looks like one of the biggest bust free agent signings of the offseason. And there are already rumors that Roschon Johnson is going to get a lot more opportunities this week. So if you need a spot start off waivers, go pick up Roschon Johnson and start him against the Rams.